Hello. Hi guys. If you hear the car in the background, that's because I am in my car and it is on because it's a bit chilly. So hello, what's up? I just saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Oh my goodness. It's such a good movie. It was so good. 5 out of 5. It was so good. I mean, everything, everywhere, all at once good. It was so good. It was so good. And it didn't have to be overly complicated to do that. Not a lot of movies can do that. It was fantastic. The animation was spectacular and inspiring. The performances, the performances, they it was fantastic. It really was. Okay. But and that like inspired me. It partially inspired me to make this episode. This is going to be a quicker one because, like I said, my car is running. So maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30. We'll see. I've been thinking about this for a bit now. And I've been thinking of it a bit after New Year's. And and I thought of it more after I watched Midnight Gospel. It's on Netflix. It's also a spectacular animation. It's a TV show. It's pretty much a podcast with animation, and the podcasters interact with the universe around them, which is really interesting until you get to the last episode. I think it's episode 8. There's not even like 10 episodes. I think it's episode 8. And it's a podcast with the podcaster. Let me look up the name real quick. Yeah, the podcaster Duncan Trussell. He he's the main writer. Main writer and the narrator. He's the podcaster, right? And the last episode is him podcasting with his mother, interviewing his mom. And I'm almost positive, because of what we find out in the episode right beforehand, that his mom is dead by the time this show is airing. And also because it's just straight audio and the animation is built around the audio. And while in every other episode, the podcaster and whoever he's interviewing, the interviewee, I suppose, they both interact with the environment around them. But of course, in the last episode, the mother can't interact with the people around him. I believe she died before this show was even conceived, because originally he really does just podcast and interview people and yada yada. I haven't looked that much into it, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct because of what happened in the episode right before. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, apologies. My bad. I was wrong. God. Um, but the reason I think it's so spectacular is because in the last episode, she's dead. Because in the episode before, he says both of my parents are dead. I buried them already, is what he says. So it's not a spoiler in this last episode. But in the last episode, if you want to watch Midnight Gospel before I say anything, go watch it. It's not like a spoilery type of show. It got canceled, so there's not gonna be a season 2. Nothing else happens. Unfortunately, it got canceled because Netflix gets rid of all the good shows. Now I'm going on a rant. But on the last episode, we find out that Duncan Trussell's mother has cancer while she's being interviewed during this time. She's maybe not suffering. I don't think she would have said suffering from cancer, but she would say she has cancer. And that's what she said. I have cancer. And she was told when she first got told she had cancer, she was told that she had like about 3 months to live. She calls her kids eventually. I don't know, the life span. She calls her kids and she says, "Hey guys, I have cancer. I have 3 months to live." And he's recording the interview like 4 years later. So she never knows when she's gonna die, but she's been told multiple times like, "You're gonna die soon." And she said after that, that's probably the most alive she's ever been. And this is what I realized. And this is the point she's trying to make in the show as well. And maybe she wouldn't say it like this. But, okay, so my friend said, while I was watching this episode, she came in and she saw part of it. And she was like, Kai was like, "Yeah, I mean, live like you got cancer, man. That's what we got to do." And I was like, no. And this is why I'm telling you guys as well. We have cancer. We do. You have cancer. Your mom has cancer. Everyone has cancer. and we're going to die. This is a fact. And maybe not cancer is the right word, but like that's the word we like hearing, right? That's the word that makes everyone go, oh my God, I'm going to die soon. So yeah, you have cancer, or better yet, you're going to die soon. And maybe soon is tomorrow, maybe soon in a second, maybe soon is 50 years from now. But you are going to die. That's the only thing that we all know will happen for sure. No matter what, you will die. Your soul will escape this planet, leaving your body to waste away and deteriorate and do whatever. We are all going to die. And I'm not saying that in a way to make us all afraid, because I'm going to be honest. Sometimes when I was thinking about this earlier in the year, before I watched Midnight Gospel and Puss in Boots, and before, I was just very anxious in the beginning of this year and the end of last year, because I said this in the first episode of season 2. I feel like I had a very bad year last year. I feel like it was really bad. And it may have been my first year when I really, like, I will say, I feel like I really just had depression. And I hate saying, like, oh, I have depression. I'd rather say, oh, I was just so depressed. Because it doesn't sound like a mental illness when you say the other one. But to be real, I feel like I was suffering from depression, and not to self-diagnose myself. I'm not a fucking doctor, but I feel like, well, I know if I did go to a to a psychiatrist, they'd have to diagnose me with something. I need that insurance to pay them. um but yeah, I feel like I really do. And I was just miserable all the time, and I was like so effing sad. And I hate when, I know we don't use that word a lot, but I was just sad. I was blue. That's the correct word. I was so blue. And I was waiting for my life to begin. That's what I would say. I would be like, when will my life begin? And then I'd start singing Tangled. But like, seriously, I hated last year. I hated it. And so when this year came, I was like, something has to happen, please. And I was like praying all the time. And I said this, I was praying like, God, please give me a reason to live. Because I would never kill myself. I really wouldn't. But I was just like, I don't know what to do. I just knew I couldn't keep living the way I was. And I'm not saying anything drastic has happened in my life since then and now. In fact, nothing. I've still gone to work. I call the same people. I hang out with the same group of people. Nothing much has changed, honestly. um, but I think my perspective may have changed, and maybe it'll change back. But for now, I'm happy it is what it is, because now the way I want to view life is like cancer. And I remember viewing it this way during the summer. I'd be at work and I'd say to myself, what am I doing here? And I'd say, I'm calling out. And I'd go to the beach and I'd just watch the sunrise and sunset. And I'd look into the stars. I actually didn't see the sunset. It's kind of scary at night if you're by yourself. But I'd watch the sunrise. and I'd look at the waves and stuff. And I'd be like, look at everything out there. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm racing away. But now I don't know if I don't want to think of it as like such a childish way. I'm like, obviously we have responsibilities and we must do what we have responsibilities to do. But I feel like just the changing our perspective sometimes can be the thing that like helps us live. You know what I mean? Like help us live. This is like, keep praying like, God, give me a reason. I'm the reason. I don't know, this sunrise is the reason, right? Wake up in the morning so you can see the sunrise. That's a reason. Everyone doesn't get to see it every morning. You know what I mean? And like, sometimes I just feel like, and I'm talking from an American perspective, and I'm talking from maybe a middle class American perspective, just FYI. And so I feel like sometimes we know, like we get so fucking jealous of everyone above us and everyone better than us and living better lives and more lavish, like, let's say that, maybe not better, but more lavish lives than us. And we're just like, well, I'm just suffering down here. I'm suffering. And I know how my mom must have felt when I said I was suffering. But like, I think my perspective, the way I was thinking, put me in a suffering mentality. Because I think now I'm in a more hopeful mentality. I don't know if this year is going to go well, but I just want to look at it from a more positive perspective, from a more hopeful perspective. Like, I have cancer. I'm going to die. I'm so happy that God or the universe or whatever you want to believe in woke me up today. Sure, yeah, I woke myself. I woke up on my own. But like, kind of. I mean, my alarm clock did. Like, I don't know. Like, my eyes just woke up or anything. I didn't tell myself, hey, wake up now. And then my body was like, okay, yeah, well, wake. No, like something, it's luck. Because everyone doesn't wake up every morning. It's luck. Sometimes you crack your neck so hard in the morning, you go to a chiropractor, you get your neck crack, you have a good day, you go to bed, and boom, you have a heart attack in your sleep and you're dead. Okay? Or you have a stroke, or like your heart just gives out. I don't know. But like those people who have died in their sleep for no special reason, and I didn't. So hallelujah, right? I don't know. I feel like I should be more grateful for what I get to experience. Like, I'm sitting in my car and I get to watch the rain. Literally right now, that's what's happening. I'm sitting in my car and I get to watch the rain. Last year I didn't have a car. Hallelujah. Right? Or when I'm in my apartment, I get to sit in my apartment and watch the rain with my fucking cat. Like, hallelujah. I don't know. Like, okay, let me calm down before I just ramble and just say hallelujah over again. Because I know that's just so painful to listen to when you really hate your life, right? So, something else I've been thinking of, and it adds into what I've been saying, is this whole, I want to think in a more neighborly way, right? We're all neighbors, and we may think we're not. But we are. We need each other. We need each other. And I think that due to the American society, once again, we all have phones. More people have phones than they have a restroom to use. We all have fucking phones. And so we don't need to see each other in person. We think they've brought us together, and they have the possibility to, but it doesn't always. And I feel like you could be right by someone, but you feel like you're miles away. And I know you feel that way because you sit in class and you don't talk to anyone, or you sit in a bus and you don't look at anybody, right? Or like you don't need to. And we could go anywhere we want with planes and cars and stuff, but we don't go to each other. I don't know. There's not a connection. Have you guys read the graphic novel In? I cannot remember the name of the writer, but it's called In. Look it up. Just look up In graphic novel, and he talks about a lot of what I'm saying right now, just like the connection to another person. I feel like that's something else because, like I said, we're all neighbors, and we take that for granted, and I know we do. Because I know the type of people, and I complained about this in the last episode, the type of people who will like come into the place I'm working at and treat me like I'm nothing and just like throw their clothes on the counter and won't look me in the eye. I'm like, you need me here. You need me to check out. You can't check out if I wasn't here. You would not be checking out right now. You couldn't. The doors would be locked. You wouldn't get to have your new t-shirts. You need me. And the people who work at McDonald's and Wendy's and whatever fast food company you go to, you need them. You need them to make their fries. You need to. Because think of this. When you're like with a mom, when you're a little kid and you have a mom, you don't think of her like, oh, and she loves me, and oh, she does, because you can't grasp it. And it's not your fault. You literally are unable to grasp it, right? So you just think about this, of this woman or whoever your motherly figure was. I hope you had one. Everyone didn't, I know. But whoever that figure was to you, you think of them as like, not as someone you love. You just say, I love you because your mom says I love you to you. And you just, we're parenting our parents. But you look at them as a chef. You do. They make you your food. They made you the the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, whatever. They're your chef. Because we don't always want to cook for ourselves. These people in our restaurant, what makes them any different from our moms sometimes? Seriously, they're feeding you. You didn't feel like making food today, so someone is making it for you. Why aren't we grateful towards these people? We make fun of them or whatever. They just made you food. You have dinner tonight because of them. We need them. The people who like clean your toilets and the janitors and like everyone. We need each other. And I like lawyers are important and doctors are important, obviously. But like fucking Christ, go into a store and they don't have a janitor and you're leaving. You need these people. We need each other. And we act like we don't. But I know that if we all lived alone, and in fact, we know this for a fact because during COVID-19, suicide rates went up so crazy because we didn't get to see each other. We need each other. And you'd think that COVID-19 would bring us all together, but I don't think it has. And it's like kind of heartbreaking. And I'm disappointed in all of us, and I'm especially disappointed in myself because I feel like when I didn't have a car and everything, and I would go out and I would listen into conversations or whatever, but like sometimes I just put on my earpods. And it didn't take a while later until I finally interacted with people. And there was this is the first time I didn't have my car. It was also last year. And I didn't have a car, different reason, different car. I know. So many cars in so little years. But I didn't have a car, and I would walk around a bunch, and I'd bring in my film camera. It's my grandfather's film camera. And I have it because he died. And so I have this film camera walking around, and I think I put everything in correctly. And I'd go around downtown and around the historic district, and I'd say, "Can I take your picture?" And I was able to interact with people I would have never spoken to, never even glanced at. Thank God I didn't have a car at that time. And guess what? I don't have any of those photos because it ends up I was loading in the film backwards. And so none of those photos exist. And everybody who smiled at the camera for me, I'll never see them again. I can't even remember their faces. But like that was probably some of the best days I had during that year. Walking around to strangers and say, "Can I take your picture?" And all of them be like, "Oh, yeah." And they smile. And it wasn't like it was like a genuine smile because suddenly these people feel important enough to take a photo of. Because we make photos so important. They feel like a model. They feel beautiful. They feel like whatever. You know what I mean? And it takes nothing. It takes pretending to take a photo of someone to make someone's day. And we could all do that. We could all like make someone's day just by adding a compliment or by looking them in the eye when they ask you something. And being genuine. And I understand that sometimes you have shit days and you don't feel like doing whatever. I'm going to turn my car off now because I'm getting a little warm. And we don't feel like doing whatever. But that can't always be our excuse, right? We can't always make an excuse. Because we need each other. We do. And I just hope that that we figure that out and that we remember it. And I hope that I'm saying all this and that I remember this by March, right? That I remember this by fucking February. Christ. I hope I remember this by next month, by Valentine's Day, when I'm all alone and sad and going to class. That I remember that no, I'm not alone. I have everyone in the entire planet. We all affect each other. And I know we like to think that we're insignificant and nothing we do matter, because I see that all the time when people say, when I just remember I'm on a big fat floating rock and nothing I do matters. That's not true. That's an excuse, and it's a lazy one. What we do matters. Walk in a patch of mud. That's your footstep. And you may be like, no, these are generic shoes. It's not my footstep. Anyone wearing these shoes can make that footstep. Not as deep as yours. Not as light as yours. Your weight, your everything, the pressure you put in the mud, that makes it your footprint. No one else can make that footprint, even if they tried. And guess what? You can never make that same footprint again. Try making two same footprints. Try it and make them identical. Get some cement, step in it once, and then go on the side and step on it again and see if they look the same. They won't. Every little thing we do matters, and it makes an effect, even if it's so fucking tiny. I know we're like, oh, well, it's a tiny effect. But, like, that's something. That's something. And to say that all life what we do doesn't matter, like, fuck off. Oh, yeah, nothing we do matters. Yeah, we're all just gonna die, whatever. That's such a 50s mentality. Back when people would put all this shit in the air, and now we're all suffering from climate change. Nothing we do matters. Obviously, that's not true. Then we wouldn't have a hole in the ozone. And that ozone wouldn't slowly be closing itself because of what we're trying to do. What we do matters. Christ, you know what I mean? And we are affecting each other, and the way we smile at each other, and we can't pretend like they don't exist. You know? And like, it's from the little things, and it's like, I'm about to go off topic, but I'm going to bring it in together, okay? I think sometimes in first world countries, I'm saying first world countries because I don't know what the technical term is for it. No insult to the other world countries, right? To second world countries. But like the big, know-it-alls and stuff, we see impoverished people, obviously. In all those countries, there's also a whole bunch of impoverished people. And we look at them and we feel so bad. We're like, aw, the homeless, aw. Well, are they sleeping tonight, aw? Well, I'll give them $1. Well, let me buy them some food, aw. And then we go on and we forget them and we pretend like they don't exist. Or worse, we look at them with disgust and we're just like, well, how did you let your life get there? What do you mean? Like, it's a fucking choice. I don't know. Like a lot of people don't choose to be homeless. Oh, just get a job. Like, some people, like, that they can't. I don't know. Obviously, if they could be in a home, they would be. Have you ever been outside in the rain? Not outside in the rain because you wanted to run out there dramatically and kiss your lover and whatever, but been outside in the rain because you have nowhere else to go? And we block off our chairs and we put signs saying no loitering and all of this stuff, and we say, hey, if you sleep under the bridge, we're gonna fucking arrest you? Well, then where do you go? You sleep in the rain then. And obviously, if you could get an umbrella, you would put it up, but you don't have one. And you're like, well, and you may think, well, obviously I wouldn't be upset, but I would never get myself in this circumstance in the first place. But you don't know that. You don't know what gets them there. We all say, oh, well, they're just druggies. That's an addiction. It's a sickness. If they all are, if every single homeless person has an addiction, whatever, that's not true, but if every single homeless person has an addiction, what, like, if we imagine like having cancer and being in the street, then it's a disease. It's killing people. They can't help it. We can't help it. You smoke, you vape. Okay, stop vaping. There, did I cure you? No, you smoke cigarettes? Oh, stop smoking. Okay, there you go. Like, what are you talking about? And then imagine this. Imagine having the worst day of your life. You have nowhere to go. It's fucking raining. You can't sleep under the road or you're under the bridge or where there's shelter or they're going to arrest you. And all you got is a pack of cigarettes. You're smoking that, aren't you? So change that pack of cigarettes to some heroin. Like, how could I stay sober if I have to sleep in the fucking rain all night? Or in 30-degree weather with holes in my socks? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? And like, I'm not trying to go off track, but I'm saying, like, just like I'm saying we're our neighbors, these are our neighbors too. We're all neighbors. That fucking billionaire Jeff Bezos is my neighbor, just like the homeless person that I pass by on the street every day going to work. We all affect each other. And Jeff Bezos and and Elon Musk and all of them, everyone we see in their mansions regularly, they know they can get people help. They're all places that have helped people with addictions. We see so many superstars. We see John Mulaney or anyone. He was in Puss in Boots. John Mulaney is an addict, and he will suffer for that for the rest of my life. What makes John Mulaney any different from any of the people you claim are addicts in the street? What makes him any different? What? That he makes a joke every once in a while? Okay. No, what makes him different is he had money and he had good friends that got him help. Because if he didn't have them, he would die. And he knows he would die. And his friends know he would die. Because if they didn't know it, they wouldn't have made an intervention for him. He knows it. They know it. We all know it. Because doing hard drugs will kill you. That's a fact. Well, that's not, if you are prone to addiction or whatever, yada, yada, yada. Right? Can't we say that's true? So what makes him, what makes the difference? So why is he in Puss in Boots? And why are other people in the street? I'm not, no hate to Puss in Boots and John Mulaney, but I'm trying to make a point saying the difference is that he was able to get help. And I'm so happy he was, obviously. And I obviously hope that he lives a great life. I really do. I have nothing against John Mulaney. He's really funny. I saw him live. I think he's a funny dude, right? But I think everyone deserves that same, treatment as John Mulaney. Fuck. Why am I talking about John Mulaney so much? Christ. Right, though? What I'm saying, back to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, is that they have the money to help people, and they are choosing not to. And that's affecting all of us. That's affecting our neighbors, because they're withholding. That's greed. That is selfishness. That is evil. That's animosity. They are hurting people by doing nothing. And they're getting richer because of it. They're hurting our neighbors. That is devastating. And we need to care, because we don't just sit on a floating rock. We're sitting in our home. We live here, and we're all living here together. It matters. It's our life. Our lives matter. And if you don't care about other humans, think of your fucking dog then. Doesn't your dog's life matter? This is his home too, right? These are his neighbors too, right? And I just hope, and I really do hope that we can all help each other. I really do. And I know that we know secretly, I know that we make an impact on each other. I know we do, because if we didn't think that, no one would have created art. No caveman would draw in a draw with some mud or whatever, if they didn't think someone else would see it, or if they didn't think it would make some difference. Sure, they did it to make themselves feel better, and then so they could go out and hunt better, so they can hunt for their family or something. They're doing it for a reason. We know we're affecting other people. We know we do. And because we know we do, because we make music for people, and we post it for people to listen to. We know we make a difference. Because we make movies, and we write things. And we sing every once in a while, and we dance in the street, and we flip people off. And we know those are all making a difference, and we cuss. And we know that's making a difference, because you know when you go up to someone and say you're a fucking bitch, you know you hurt their feelings. You know you did. That's why you said it. So you also know that if you went up to someone and say, hey, I like your t-shirt, you know they're going to be like, I'm going to wear this t-shirt more often. You know they will. And we can't pretend like we're so obtuse to these facts. We are making a difference. We're impacting people. So let's try to do it better. And sometimes I wonder, going back to addiction, sometimes I wonder if being dicks is our addiction, right? Shopping's an addiction, 100%. You see some of these Shein hauls. No one who's buying all this shit from Shein, $500 once a Shein or Amazon or wherever they're getting it, wherever they're getting it. They know that they don't need $500 worth of clothing. And we know they're not all going to wear it. We know that when we go to the store and we spend $10 on a t-shirt, we're like, oh yeah, I'm going to wear this a couple of times, eventually give it to Goodwill. We know we are. But we buy it anyway because we're addicted. Or when we eat some bad food that we know is going to give us a tummy ache later, we do it anyway because we're addicted. And I feel like when we don't look each other in the eye, and when we say something mean to each other, or when we do something bad, when we litter or whatever, because we're addicted to being dicks. I don't know. I don't know how else you say it. We're addicted to it. We've gotten used to it. And I know for a fact that we could get better. Because John Mulaney got better. See how I brought it full circle? But no, in all seriousness, right? think of a mother who quit smoking when they're pregnant. That's fucking hard. That's really, really hard. And we know it is. Think of fucking that movie Beautiful Boy, and him having to stop doing drugs or whatever to make his father proud and to live a decent life or whatever. Like, that was probably the hardest thing he could possibly do, but he did it. And moms quit smoking all the time. And people stop eat. Like, my dad changed his diet when we were born, and I don't think about this enough, because really, that's the most amazing thing a father could do. He changed his diet because he knew that what he was eating was gonna kill him. I'm not saying I'm trying to bring anything about body positivity or wellness, but we cannot pretend like the way we eat does not later affect us. Obviously it does. Obesity and heart failure and heart attacks and all that stuff, it does affect us. It does kill people. These are facts. And my father looked at his life and saw the state he was going to and thought, I want to see my children grow up, so I'm going to stop eating like this. And he went and ran marathons when I was born, and after I was born, just so he could be in my life. Do you ever think that? Just so he could be in my life. And that was hard. Are you kidding me? Because I find it hard when I have a bad day to not pull over and buy myself some candy. And he changed the way he eats for years. He went vegan at a time when I was a kid. Are you kidding me? That's hard. Just as hard it is for a mom to quit smoking cigarettes when she gets pregnant, for a little teenage kid to stop, smoking whatever, doing whatever drugs to make their parents proud. As hard it is for a college student to keep going to class even though they want to sleep in. All of those things are so hard, and we do it for each other all the time. You think, so many kids go to school to graduate, but a lot of kids graduate because they know it's going to make their parents happy, and that's the only reason why. And they don't know what they're going to do after, and maybe they're miserable all 4 years of it, but they do it just to make their parents happy. Because we know we're affecting each other, and if we can do something to try to make other people happy, to try to help our children or help our parents or our friends or whatever it is, we could do it on a vast and a bigger shit, dog. I sure hope that wasn't my battery. Wait, let me see. Okay. Just my light went out and now it's back on. Okay. I was scared for a second. But we know we're affecting people. And we know we can make a change because people have made changes. My dad stopped eating the way he did. Pregnant mothers stopped smoking, and kids stopped doing drugs. And people go to school and they graduate. And they don't always do it for themselves. They do it for other people. And it may be the most, the closest person to them. And if we could do it for the closest person to us, we can do it for a stranger as well. We can. And it's obviously going to be hard, right? And it's going to be really hard. And we're going to relapse. And you're going to gain all the weight back. And you're going to do whatever and yada, yada, yada. And it's going to take years. But we can do it. And when you relapse, we'll be there and we'll still support each other, right? Christ, we've all had a friend that went up to us and said something really mean, and then they come back and they're like, hey, I'm sorry. And we're like, it's fine, we forgive you. And that's how it will be. And just like we are when you're like, hey, I'm going to quit smoking for the kids. And someone's like, okay, thank you for stop smoking for the kids. And you grab that one cigarette because you had a shit day. Your partner's going to still love you. They are. Just so that day when you go out and we're trying to be good people and you do one bad thing, you don't look someone in the eye, you go killing on someone, you ruin someone's day because of something that you did, and you feel bad about it later, we'll forgive you. Because we're neighbors. Because we're family. Because we affect each other. because we know it's the right thing to do, and because we have the possibility, we have the possible chance and the urge to do good things. I truly do believe that. I really, really do. Okay? And I know I'm really rambling. I do. And maybe I'm talking in circles and nothing I'm saying is making sense. Okay? I know. And if that is the truth, if I'm like rambling and stuff and you're like, okay, sorry for rambling so much. I was having a moment. um, Let me see. So there's this little poem I wrote, and I'm trying to find it now, but I honestly cannot remember what it was called. Um, let's see. Oh, I remember what it's called. Let me look it up. It's a joke in the poem. Let me find this. Let me find it. You may think, why don't you just pause and re-record later? Because I don't want to. Okay, let me do it actually. Okay, so I wrote this last year actually, and I was, last year in poetry class. You guys may have heard some of my other poems I wrote back then in season 1, whatever. Okay, so this is the poem. I'm beginning it now. It's titled Banksy. This one day I had work. I'm always at work, which sucks because in theory I'm an anti-capitalist in retail. But in practice, I love a good deal and a fuzzy hat, so I'm straying off topic, but I think I was actually heading to work. I can't remember if I had a car this time. I had this old, almost 20-year-old Pimpmobile for a bit. She died on me in the middle of one of Oglethorpe's turning lane. Poor old thing. Anyways, I'll say this is after she passed, so it sounds like I'm down on my luck, which I am because the buses never come on time, if at all. But on this day, maybe I did. Maybe it did. Like I said, I can't really remember. Maybe I didn't say that, so I'll say it now. I can't really remember, but I know I was walking into work, and right at our entrance was a huge pile of, and I'm trying to cuss less in poems, so a pile of exile? I don't know if it's human or not, and I think maybe it was a gross big dog and a careless owner, but if it wasn't, if it was from a human, and since this happened downtown, like Broaden Street downtown, this human probably didn't have access to a toilet. Well, there are some at City Market. That's why I tell the tourists that want to pee on our store, they can't. The toilets are out of order. And yeah, we could fix them, but then that mean we'd have to let tourists use the restroom, and that's just an awful idea. So maybe the culprit didn't want to use the City Market restroom. I mean, obviously. I was thinking maybe this pile of exile. I don't know. Am I using that word correctly? Excretion of bile was like stick it to the man type of thing, like a Banksy. But instead of spray paint, it's, and people walked past it, nose in the air, pretending it wasn't there. The same way they walked by the man on the bench in front of McDonald's. I think instead of getting the janitor to clean it up, we should have framed it. And that's Banksy for you. Anyways, go see Puss in Boots. You're gonna love it. Okay? You really are. And if you have someone you love, go hug them, hold them tight, never let them go, and make sure they know how much you love them. Because you really do love them. You really do. So tell them that. Why not? Don't be nervous of that shit. Okay? Text the person back. Okay? Smile at the cashier and ask for the girl's number. And if you're a girl asking for a boy's number, don't do it! No, you can do it. You can do it. If you're a girl, you can ask for a boy's number. I just won't. Ugh, please. I'm a changed woman, but I'm not that changed. Christ. God, I keep saying God's name in vain. My apologies. My apologies. Okay. Y'all have a good one. Whatever time it is. I hope it's good. Yeah. Bye.